What's up? What it do? How you doing? I am back with another video. Today, EandE family, I'm showing you how to make pumpkin bread and hot cocoa. Don't go nowhere. So we are now in the season where the mornings are a little cooler and we want something that's a little comforting. So that's why today I'm showing you how to make this pumpkin bread and my hot cocoa. So as with any good recipe, this starts with 2 sticks of room temperature butter. To our 2 sticks of room temperature butter, we are going to add 2 cups of granulated sugar. So we're going to cut our mixer on, get our paddle down in our mixer first, lock her in place. We're going to cut our mixer on and we're going to let this mix for about 2 minutes. We want to make sure that our butter and sugar is light and fluffy. First we got to plug her up. Okay, now we can cut her on. Okay, so that has been mixing for about 2 minutes. So next we're going to add 2 room temperature eggs. And as always, EandE family, if you don't feel comfortable cracking your eggs over the bowl, by all means crack them in a separate bowl so that you can look for any imperfections or shells. So we're going to let this mix for about a minute. We just want to make sure that our eggs are well incorporated. Okay, so the eggs have been well incorporated. So next we're going to add 1 15-ounce can of pumpkin puree. If you grow pumpkins or you want to go to the store and buy you the pumpkins for pies and roast them off and take the filling out, get fancy with it, by all means do so. However, I'm just using canned pumpkin because it's so much easier. So we're going to get this incorporated into our eggs and our butter and our sugar. So to our canned pumpkin, we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now get your paddle back down in your mixer and we're going to let this incorporate until the pumpkin has incorporated through the eggs and the butter and the sugar. Okay, so for this next part, I'm going to take my my bowl off of the mixer so we can get our dry ingredients incorporated. So for our dry ingredients, it's going to start with 2 cups of flour, and I'm sifting my ingredients. So that's 2 cups. We'll sift our first cup of flour, and then we'll add the rest of our dry ingredients to our second cup of flour. So to our second cup of flour, we're going to add a teaspoon of salt. We're going to add a teaspoon of nutmeg. We're going to add a teaspoon of cinnamon. All the smells of fall. We're going to add a teaspoon of clove. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And we're going to add a ½ teaspoon of baking powder. Now let's get all that sifted. We're going to get we've got our bowl back on our mixer. Get our attachment back down. Start this up slow. As with any baking recipe, cake, pumpkin bread, whatever, we don't want to overmix, so we're going to mix this just until all of the dry ingredients are incorporated with the wet ingredients. So for about 2 minutes. So we've got our batter all mixed in. You just want to take your spatula, down to the bottom, just to make sure you got everything incorporated. There's no leftover butter or flour. So I have my loaf pan. I have my Baker's Joy. Oil and flour in a can mixed. Makes it easier for you. So we're going to spray our pan. And we're going to get our batter added to our loaf pan. Okay, so as I would with the cake, give it a shimmy and a shake like this. And then we want to make sure everything is settled. That's what your unbaked pumpkin bread should look like. So we're going to bake this in a 350-degree oven until a toothpick in the center comes out clean. Next, we're going to get started on this homemade hot cocoa. You don't want to miss this, y'all. Don't go nowhere. So for our hot cocoa, we're going to start by adding some milk to our saucepan. Whatever kind of milk you want to use is totally up to you. You can use your lactose-free milk. You can use your soy milk, your almond milk, whatever milk it is that you use. You could definitely use it for your cocoa. Of course, for a richer, more delicious cocoa, you'll want to use whole milk if your stomach can tolerate that. But if not, that's okay. So, to our milk, we're going to add a little bit of sugar. You can use powdered sugar, or you can do like me and use granulated sugar. So I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of sugar. And I want that to get melted before I add my cocoa powder. I'm just going to stir that and mix that in a little bit. We're going to wait to add our cocoa powder until the edges of our milk starts to kind of bubble. Then I'll add my cocoa powder. Okay, so our milk is coming up to temperature. So now I'm going to add some cocoa powder. And I'm going to add, let's start with 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder. However much cocoa powder you add depends on the amount of chocolate goodness you like in your cocoa. So let me get that mixed in. And it may not be enough. I may have to go back and add a little bit more cocoa, and that's okay. We are okay with that. So yeah, let's add another tablespoon of cocoa. Now, because cocoa powder is very bitter, let's give this a taste to see if we need to add anything else to it. I'm telling you, that's tasting mighty delicious. We're going to add a little bit more sugar, just a little, not a lot. We're going to give it another taste test. Absolutely perfect. We're going to put the lid on this. We're going to turn it down to low because we don't want our milk to scorch. When we come back, we're going to get a taste of this delicious homemade cocoa with our delicious homemade pumpkin bread. You don't want to miss this. Y'all don't go nowhere. Pumpkin bread is now complete. We have our homemade hot cocoa. Let's get a taste. Still a little warm. That's okay. good. I'm not a fan of pumpkin, but that's good. You could taste all the spices that I put in there. That was really tasty. Good for any morning. Let's get a taste of our homemade cocoa. The two together, absolute perfection. The chocolateness, the super chocolatiness. Oh, the cocoa paired with the pumpkin and those spices and the glaze that I put on top. I'm telling you, this makes for a perfect morning for anyone, anytime, any day of the week. As I always tell you, EandE family, I promise you, they will not be disappointed. And that's it for today, EandE fam. Like, share, comment on this video. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification so that you can be notified when a new video is uploaded. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. The links are in the description box below. And as always, EandE family, don't forget to live a little and love a lot. Y'all be easy. Try this out with your family and friends. They're going to absolutely love this pumpkin bread and homemade hot cocoa. I promise. They're going to absolutely